Gets down front and those who get together because it's easier for me to watch you and talk with you here than off to the sides. First of all, let me thank my host for inviting me back up here. And what they've indicated to me was that they're primarily concerned about trying to get you all together, unite as black folk, and try to see if you can survive what's coming up around the curve in America and around the world for black folk. And particularly, they want me to focus on economics. So this evening, I'm going to take maybe, he wants me to spend about an hour running through a variety of things with you, to give you a better understanding of where we are and where you ought to be going as black people. And in the course of my talk in the next hour, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to step on some of your toes and talk about some things that you consider to be sacrosanct or semi-religious or things that are sacred to you. I might even talk about some of your black leaders. But what I'm going to tell you today is very, very important for you. And I want you to understand clearly that black folk in America in a world of trouble. You're in a world of trouble in this country and in the world. And contrary to what you hear, I don't care whether it comes out of a black mouth or a white mouth, anybody that tells you that black folk are progressing in America is lying to you. You're lying to you. And right now, if we don't do some very specific things in America and in Baltimore in the next 3 years, not 200 years from now, but in the next 3 years, you are through in America. You're through. You're going to become a permanent underclass in 3 years. And an underclass means those individuals who, by the nature of their circumstances, will be forced to live as either beggars or criminals. That's where you're going. I'm going to say it to you again in case you missed that. Here in Baltimore and any blacks in America, you got 3 years to get your act together or you're going down. You're going to be forced to be either beggars or criminals for the rest of your existence. You got an unending influx of immigrants coming into this country. They're going to bury you alive. That bill they have right now in Congress, that is your tombstone. They're going to stick that up over your head. And any black person in this city that's shucking and jiving, they better get out of your way so you can get ahead because bad things are coming. This auditorium should have been full right now with black folk that understand the nature of your circumstances. And obviously all the teachers, your elected officials, your ministers are shucking and jiving in Baltimore. And when I say bad times are coming, it's because we are not focusing on what we're supposed to be focusing on. You've been intentionally misled and misdirected. You've been sent down the wrong road. And in comparative and proportional terms, we are exactly where we were as black folk in this country. We're exactly where we were in 1860 on the eve of the Civil War. You have not moved not one iota in 140 years. And people are shucking and jiving. What you're doing is enjoying the fruits of the social illusion by them telling you somehow that because you have social integration and civil rights that you have achieved something. We as black folk have achieved absolutely nothing with civil rights and integration. Any black person who got more than a third-grade education should know that you had more. You had more before integration started than you got today. You've gone backwards. Now let me give you an example, and I said comparatively speaking in 1860. On 1860, on the eve of the Civil War, in this country, you only had about 287,000 black people that were free out of almost 4.5 million. The other 4.5 million were enslaved all over America. Only 287,000 were free. And yet, out of those 287,000 black people, they had succeeded in acquiring one half of this nation's wealth. 1/2 of 1% of the nation's wealth. With only 287,000 free. Now here we are, 140 years later, in the richest nation on earth. 140 years later, you still own and control 1/2 of 1% of this nation's wealth. And contrary to what people keep telling you through a lot of civil rights leaders, civil rights and integration does not decide equal opportunity for you. You cannot get equality through civil rights and integration. What decides your opportunities in America is what you own and control. That's what decides your opportunities. You can have all the civil rights you want. You cannot go into an expensive restaurant or an expensive hotel if you don't have any money. They're playing games with you. You must own and control. And what they fail to tell you is that the whole process of slavery and Jim Crow segregation did not happen to black folk by accident. That wasn't any big accident for you to wind up being enslaved for over 500 years in this country and 1,300 years around the world. That wasn't an accident. It happened intentionally. What your leaders should be asking is, why did it happen to you? Why were black folk enslaved all those centuries? For what? There must have been a purpose. If the purpose was strictly to maldistribute and misdistribute almost 100% or 99.5% of all this nation's wealth, power, resource, privileges, businesses, and income, and controls of all levels of government. That was the purpose of slavery and Jim Crow segregation. So one group of people could live a very advantaged lifestyle, and these over here who are black would have nothing. That was the purpose of slavery and Jim Crow segregation. Now, here you're talking about civil rights and integration. When did you correct it? If the other group controls 99.5% of everything and you control nothing, where is your equal opportunity? Where is your equality? Why are you sending black kids to school every day and people telling them that you're in an equalized society, a colorblind society, and you got nothing? You own and control nothing. I can come in this city right now and drive around. I'll bet you right now I can't find 2 blacks in this city that owns more than a 3-story building. Everything in this city that's high-rise belongs to whites. You don't own any bridges. You don't own any in the tollways. You don't own any airplanes. You don't own any boats. You don't own any skyscrapers. You don't own the media. You don't own the banks of any consequence. You own nothing. You don't produce anything. You wear clothes, but you don't produce any of any consequence. All you wear eyeglasses, you don't produce any eyeglasses. You don't own any hospitals. We own nothing. And just as happy as we want to be, go watch TV. Every black you see has been put into a safe category. The social illusion that's being created for you to dissuade you from doing something to save yourselves, they put a social illusion on TV with safe blacks. The images that are put in front of you show you that those are safe blacks. Any black that's successful in America has some kind of an illicit relationship with a ball. He's either running with a football, baseball, basketball, tennis ball, golf ball, standing on the stage telling jokes, dancing, singing, pretending he's having a ball. They even got a program now on TV called The Ballers. Because, see, white folks know you're safe if you've got a relationship with a ball going. Because there's about that much distance between a cotton field and an athletic field. In the athletic field, you were chasing cotton balls. Now you're chasing basketball and tennis balls. You haven't moved one iota. The same person that owned the cotton fields now owns the basketball teams and the football teams. We're not moving. 1/2 of 1% of the nation's wealth. That's what slavery did to you. It maldistributed everything in the hands of the dominant white society. And as an example, you didn't acquire any wealth since 1860. Let me show you some other indications. In 1860, on the eve of the Civil War, almost 99% of all the black people in America, slave and free, was working for whites. Either in a white corporation, in a white business, in some white office, making wealth comfort for whites, on a plantation or whatever it is.